The whole point is getting them back on the road. There's something that I was not expecting.
1923 Packard. When was the last time you seen a cowl vent, which is cast aluminum here? Imagine if you had to find one of those. I don't even
Where
know
would you go? All right, guys, welcome back to this epic, as Bobo would put it, epically amazing road trip. So we shifted gears here a little bit. It happens when you're on the road, scheduling, conflicts, all that kind of stuff. Thankfully, and you guys are going to appreciate this almost as much as I do, we're here with Roy Marco again today. Of course, you can see, you know we love C50s. Here's Roy's. Thing is next level awesome. You recognize the Hudson. Now, we're going to try to get a couple things running today. One, a Chevy Corvair, which I personally have never tried to get running in my entire life before. Air-cooled flat, is it a flat 6 or 4 in that thing?
Flat 6. It's
Flat
the first
six.
year, 1960.
First year, flat 6 Corvair 1960. And then hopefully we're going to do something that you guys might find odd in this day and age. So we're going to go, Roy has acquired a wicked old Ford bump side truck. Now the owner of the truck doesn't have a phone, doesn't have a cell phone, doesn't have the internet. You just go and do what you'd call a cold call to see whether or not the gentleman's home and hope it goes smoothly. You're not gonna wanna miss that. First, we're gonna take you on a quick tour of the just relics and massive amount of history that Roy has kicking around here at what I would call his compound. Let's go have a look. Welcome to a miniature junkyard in the middle of the city. This is what I'm talking about. You could drive 100 feet past here and you'd never see it. The first thing I want to show you guys is Roy's passion for daily driving old cars. It's the same kind of thing we love to do. Let's take a look at this, what year is 55?
56.
56 Pontiac. Last time we saw Roy, it was a 6-cylinder.
Yeah, 261 is Canadian 6.
261 Canadian 6-cylinder in this car. Let's have a look at what's in it now.
It's nothing too special, just a 283, but out of a 57 Chevy.
283.
But it's date coded. This engine was built March of 56. So, and yeah. It's got an aftermarket Edelbrock intake. I didn't repaint the engine. I was going to, but just ended up getting it in the car. So
it's the whole point is getting them back on the road, resurrecting history, sharing it with a new generation that hasn't seen it yet. Now, Chevelles and Mustangs and Hemi Cudas and all that kind of stuff are great, but you don't need to have $1 million. If you have a few skills with your hands and some determination, you can put almost anything back on the road. Let's go have a look at the garage in here. There's something that I was not expecting that I want to share with you guys before we get started on the Will It Run stuff. Lead the way, Roy.
okay. Well, here we have a 1923 Packard. This is called a Doctor's Coupe. It's a unique body because it actually has a quick release window on this side, so you can just push a button, the window will come down. The doctor can grab his bag. There's actually a special spot for it. So this car only seats 4. If this was the car that would seat 5, it even had a little bit of a different body to it.
Okay.
In the trunk, it was designed to haul your golf clubs. This car is all wooden structure with actually aluminum skinning on it. So this isn't even steel. This is all aluminum.
Okay.
Or aluminium if you're...
Aluminium?
Aluminium
if you're the from the European side of the water?
That's right. The gentleman that had this car for the last just over 20 years was a cabinet wood worker. Had done all of the interior, like the wood structure of this car, as you can see in the roof. Had redone the steering wheel here.
Now, is that ash or what is that?
He's probably oak.
Oak?
I'm guessing oak, yeah.
It's wonderful work.
Or maple.
Yeah, I don't...
Even the wooden spoked wheels, although he says I should redo them, these are, which is kind of a shame. They're probably fine, but it's red oak. He said they should be done in hickory.
Okay.
I have a lady that's actually recasting me new hubcaps here, so these will all be replaced. 4 new ones that have been done. It's a 2-door car. Like I said, the body panel's aluminum up until the cowl. There's a joint here, then this part is steel, and then this from here back is all aluminum. So yeah, one of the neat things too, like, when's the last time you seen a cowl vent, which is cast aluminum here? That whole thing is like one piece. This is not even, welded together. It's a cast piece. Imagine if you had to find one of those. I don't even know where
would you?
Yeah, where would you start?
Wow. Yeah. Imagine the skill it took to have that, like, get it done.
Yeah. So that's kind of unique. So, I mean, a lot of the hard work on this automobile has been completed, like all the hard stuff, the wood and all that. And for me, this is great because I like the mechanical stuff, and really this just needs paint. It doesn't even need much body work.
Right.
Look at all the fenders and pieces. This is early, I think 1920, they came out with a 6-cylinder. Packard was known for their twin 6, which was a 12.
Yep, the twin 6.
And then the straight 8. And Packard also built airplane engines. So this engine was, the whole bottom crankcase is aluminum alloy. And then cast for the cylinders. Jerry had all this, this panel on the side is the water jacket. This has all been reconstructed. And this engine has never been fired up yet. It's been rebuilt probably, he said, about 10 years ago, and he's never fired it yet. I was able to find spark plugs. So if you need spark plugs for your Packard, Autolite 3076s will fit.
Yeah.
And they're quite a big, actually for Model A is what I ended up getting. They're quite a big thread size on that. But Jerry had like 6 mix and match spark plugs in here.
And they got to be pretty shallow too because of the flathead, right?
Yeah, they're above the valve, so they're not gonna they're kind of not sitting right on top of the piston.
And this is for the
spark plug wires.
Does it have a magneto?
No, it has a distributor.
It does, okay.
It's a Delco distributor. You see it in the box there, like I.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Do you think this engine's going to be a runner when it's time?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's done to that point where it should be a runner. I mean, he had it completely redone by somebody and reputable. If anything got into the engine.
Yeah.
Like dirt.
Yeah.
And then you do get it running, and then you screw the cylinder walls. So I have to use a camera and check each cylinder hole.
I was going to say.
And clean the best I can and lubricate well before I fire it.
I think it'd be fun to come back and we spend 3 days going through the engine.
Yeah, I basically just, the thing about it.
Scope everything.
Have to custom build spark plug wires.
Yeah.
And what I am doing with this car, though, I'm going to make it 12 volt.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put electronic ignition in that distributor.
Yeah.
Petronics.
Yes.
It's the only thing I'm going to do to make, you know. Yeah. And I'm going to run an alternator.
Yes.
Yeah.
It improves the drivability.
Yeah.
Tenfold.
And probably a fuel pump. Because what this has is a vacuum canister.
Vacuum, yeah.
That would bring the fuel into that canister and then gravity feed or something like that.
Yeah, so it's...
What's interesting about this engine is
siphon vac.
Yeah, has 7 spark plugs. The 7th spark plug keeps a flame above the carburetor.
That's because
to keep
gas
the intake warm.
And because gas was so terrible then?
Well, it was only a couple of years, and it was called the fuelizer. I have a whole article on it.
The fuelizer.
Fuelizer. And I even have an extra carburetor.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna circle back to this one, gang. This is the kind of project that isn't a quick, will it run, can this car be saved? When you're dealing with a piece of history like this, you want to take your time, do your research like Roy has, and be careful, because you can't run down to Napa or an auto parts store and get a new head gasket for a 23 Packard.
No.
So
my goal is to have this car running for its 100th anniversary. It's a 23.
Yeah.
So by next summer, I'd like to be able to at least drive it.
Yep.
It may not be in completed form, but
drivable.
Yeah, that's
good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Let's see, gang. Let's go see if we can get that Corvair to run, and maybe see if we can also try and grab that Ford truck at some point. Let's circle back maybe in a day or two here, Roy, and come back and have an even closer look at this. and go through some of the other relics and amazing pieces of history you have set around here.
Sure.
Sound good?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that.
All right, let's do that.
Okay.
There we go. Look at that! I'm starting to think this thing has not been sitting as long as we thought.
Well, being a Chevy guy, I'm a little embarrassed.